Well, here we are again. It is Friday Night Football on Campus Nation. Tonight we're on the Facebook Live channel of Campus Nation. You'll be able to see this game tomorrow on the YouTube channel of Campus Nation. Tonight's contest on Friday, October 1 is between the Goshen Warriors 0-6. The homecoming host tonight, your Wilmington Hurricanes football team, coming in at 2-4. It's homecoming. It's a beautiful night. I'm Tony Mancuso with the play-by-play. Let me bring in a long-time ghost who hasn't been around until tonight, but he's here tonight. The one and only state high school champion quarterback, college quarterback, coach extraordinaire, color man, Jeff Murphy. Jeff, welcome.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to be back. It really is a beautiful evening here at Wilmington. Beautiful field. And again, we don't have maybe the premier matchup in the SBAAC this evening. That, I think, is probably over at Clinton Massey, where you've got Western Brown and Clinton Massey going at it for leadership of the SBAAC American Division. Two very different teams with different styles. But I'm very happy to be here. Love high school football and love being with the crew again.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Goshen Warriors, the visiting team tonight. Been having a rough time of it so far in 2021.
Yeah, Tony, as you mentioned, Goshen is 0-6. As far as the SBAAC American Division, the teams just started playing last week. They lost their first divisional game to Clinton Massey, 69-14. On the season, they're averaging 6 points a game and giving up 37.7. I'm a little surprised at that. We had the game in Wilmington and Goshen last year. Beautiful stadium, beautiful area down there. And thought they had quite a few underclassmen that were playing, so I'm not quite sure what's happened. But we do have some good players for Goshen. Our leading passer is senior Bryce Brewer. He's hitting 42.6% of his passes for 202 yards with a touchdown and interception. Bryce also is the team's leading rusher. 37 carries for 243 yards. He had 7.6 yards a carry. He's a senior. Also in the backfield for Goshen is sophomore Gabe Coates. He actually leads the team in carries, 45 carries for 165 yards, 3.7 a carry. Leading receiver for Goshen is junior Tyler Kilgore. He's got 6 passes, 6.3 yards a catch. And on defense, look for junior Craig McKinney. He has 36 solo tackles and 8 assists on the year to lead the team, and he also has a forced fumble. Wilmington comes in tonight at 2-4, as you mentioned. They won their opening game in the American Division last week with a 49-3 win over Batavia. Cameron McAvoy, a senior who we saw last year, played some as a junior. He's a lefty. Got a really nice spin on his ball. He's hitting 43.5% of his passes, 735 yards, which is 4th in the conference, 6 touches, and 5 interceptions. Their leading rusher is one of those super softs, if you remember we talked about last year, Thad Stuckey. He's, of course, now a junior. Stuckey has 86 carries for 524 yards, which is shade over 6 yards a carry. He's got 5 touchdowns. Isaiah Rigling, who we also saw last year, he's a senior now. He's the leading receiver, 21 catches, 395 yards, which is a tremendous 18.7 yards a catch and 2 touchdowns. Also tonight for Wilmington, we'll get to see Parker Henry, a very good place kicker. He's a senior now. And Josh Snell, who we saw last year again as a sophomore, is their leading tackler. Has 41 total tackles. He also has an interception. Wilmington is averaging 26.5 points a game, so their offense has been wonderful this year. Their defense seems to be where they're having the problem. They're giving up 27.8 a game.
Yeah, they had a hard time, Jeff, earlier in the year defending the run. Some kids for both Hamilton Ross and Miami Trace really lit up the scoreboard in rushing yardage. So it seems like they've gotten that corrected a little bit lately. And we'll see if Goshen can run the ball and take advantage of what used to be a weakness of Wilmington, but may have been corrected. So it's 2-4. Wilmington kicking off left to right to Goshen on the receiving end of the kick. We got the rock and roll music blaring in the speakers. We got Parker Henry lined up for the kickoff. It's Friday Night Football on Facebook Live, Campus Nation, and here we go. So the kick return by number 19, Bryce Brewer. Makes it out to what, about the 30-yard line.
It's a nice return.
Yeah.
Bryce, again, quarterback, leading rusher as well. He does it all.
You rarely see a quarterback running back kick, but that's what Goshen coach Greg Miller had in store for the Wilmington kickoff team. So can't say that I ever remember a quarterback running back kicker. Goshen in the white uniforms trimmed with red and gray pants going from right to left. There's the opening pass by Bryce Brewer, falling incomplete.
Goshen coming out, and of course the open sets, which you see almost exclusively, even in high school anymore. Sprinted out to the right after on a play action pass, and he didn't get his body turned upfield. Kind of as a right-hander, you still have to get your body turned upfield when you're going to your right. Kind of faded away from it, and the ball was a little short.
Just underway here at Alumni Field. It's homecoming night. One of the Wilmington High School players, Brett Brooks, the homecoming king, Jeff.
Brooks was a good player last year for him, too. Looking forward to seeing him tonight. I'm sure he's looking forward to the homecoming dance afterward.
You can imagine being a
pretty
big honor. So now it's 3rd and 10 as the Goshen offense is not converted on either pass play. Lively crowd tonight.
Good to see. Last year, remember, we were dealing with COVID. Nobody here other than a few smattering of parents. Very nice to be here, and no beanbags out there where the ball's supposed to be.
There's a shotgun snap and under pressure and sack by number 39. Senior linebacker. Also a member of the homecoming court. It don't get no better for him either tonight.
There's a 4th down and 20.
And Goshen will be punting on their first series.
Well, we get a little taste of why Goshen's averaging 6 points a game. The pressure came right up the middle, almost untouched, and the Brewer had no chance.
The punt bounces and rolls and is down by number 3. That's Bradford O'Donnell. So Wilmington takes over on 41. Goshen 41-yard line. So great field position for the Hurricane. 10:59 to go. Goshen goes 3 and out on their first drive. And here comes the Wilmington offense. What do you look for tonight, Jeff?
I think we're going to see what we saw last year. I think the quarterback will be under center. You're going to see a lot of running because of the talented running backs they have and play-action passes.
McElroy winds up and fires deep downfield.
McElroy's pass intended for
That's
number 1.
Isaiah Ridley.
That pass falls incomplete.
It's a beautiful pass, been right on the money. Unfortunately, he kind of lost his balance a little bit at the end, and the ball came out when he hit the turf.
So
nice effort.
A quick strike down the field by Wilmington falls incomplete. So Coach Killen is dialing it up on first down, throwing the bomb downfield. And there goes number 26, Stucky,
Number 26, Pat Stucky, the ball carrier.
Big
Right out of
game.
bounds, number 3, Bradford McDonald. Number 80, Evan Harris. That play is good for a Wilmington. First down.
Like I say, Jeff, and seeing, watching Thad Stuckey, the kid just has that running back DNA. Hits the holes hard, is quick, stays on his feet.
Good eyes, too. He really sees the hole.
Great vision. He's stacked up there for the short game. 10-22
Number 26, Thad Stuckey, the ball carrier.
Clock running here at Wilmington High School, Alumni Field. 0-0 is the score. We're going to be announcing the score a lot. As
That brings up second down and 7.
producer Sidney Phillips says the score is not on screen. So we'll be telling you a lot tonight. There's Stuckey barreling into the line close to the first down. They might have marked him
Number
just
26, Thad Stuckey, the ball carrier. Stopped on the play, number 32, Craig McKinney.
They got about 3rd and 1, Tony.
Brings up third down and 1.
And poor Goshen has struggled stopping people all year long.
Got good size on their defense. They look like good athletes. Haven't had a chance to really look and see how young they are. Nice stretch play there.
Stuckey for the first down inside the 10 with
Number
about 8.
26, Thad Stuckey, the ball carrier.
So first and goal.
Back by number 3,
Wilmington on
Bradford
their
McDonald.
drive, homecoming night.
That play's good for a Hurricane.
Mark it on the
First down.
9. First and goal from the 9.
Brings up first and goal from the 9.
Another hand is Stuckey, and he is dropped at about a 3-yard gain.
Number 26, Thad Stuckey, the ball carrier.
Jeff, is it hard to
And
come in
number
and
80,
play
Evan
a
Harris. And number 32,
You're going
Craig
to have to
McKinney.
play with.
Brings up second down and goal.
I don't think when you're 2 and 4, you feel that way because you're looking to get another win. And of course, with the new system in place with the OHSAA, 16 teams in each region. Wilmington, although they're off to a bad start, I was looking at their schedule. They could get 5 wins. I think they can get in. Oh,
Stuckey barely tripped up as he rolls through the line.
Number
Looks like
26,
he had
Thad Stuckey, the ball
pay
carrier.
dirt coming, but somebody got him by the shoestring.
well, what happened there was the defensive tackle was being blocked backwards and blown out.
Number 70,
Stuckey had a
Garrett
clear route to the end zone, but he tripped on the defender that was being blocked. Unfortunate.
Brings up 3rd and goal from the 4. And that time the Goshen defense stops Stuckey short of the goal line.
26, Thad Stuckey, the ball
Seems
carrier.
like 4-down territory to me, Jeff, you know?
I noticed coming into this game, even though we heard about Parker Henry last year, they've only attempted 2 field goals. So I'm not sure what the story is, but down there I think you go for it regardless. Trying to get your season turned
We're
around.
on about the 2-yard line. 4th and goal. McElroy will pitch to Stuckey, and he is going to be stopped. He did not get in, Jeff.
Thad
Wow,
Stuckey was the ball carrier.
what a boost for the Goshen defense.
Stop by number 80, Evan Harris.
It's a great temptation when you're a coach down close to call an option like that was, hoping that you can get outside with two possibilities, either
Goshen
quarterback
ball,
or tailback.
10 from the 1.
But it really looked to me like the kids hadn't run that play too much. It was kind of slow developing, and then the wide receiver on the left just couldn't quite hold his stock block long enough, and that cornerback got off and just made a super play.
So Goshen holds on downs. There's a change of possession. No score here at Alumni Field, but they're in the danger zone, backed up inside the 1. And of course, he did not get out. I was worried
That
about
plays
that
good
for
for a
Goshen.
Wilmington safety.
Safety for Wilmington. They're in that territory.
That brings our score to 2. Wilmington, Goshen 0.
So you get a mixed turn of events there. Great goal line stand by Goshen, but jailbreak defense by Wilmington to get a safety. So it's 2-0. That's 7 minutes and 11 seconds to go.
Might not be the worst thing in the world for Goshen. If you don't get a first down there, you're punting out of your own end zone with all kinds of pressure. Tremendous field position would certainly be the result. I don't think they wanted a safety, but it might not be the worst thing for them. I believe that was Gabe Koch, the sophomore. It's kind of hard to see from our angle, but he had no chance. It was just an overwhelming surge by the Wilmington defensive line.
Seemed like about 7 guys in on the tackle.
I think that's right.
Talk about team defense. That was team defense. So here's the Goshen free kick. As Wilmington jumps out 2-0, stopped inside the 1, but get a safety. And here's Isaiah Wrigley returning the ball. He's got a lane and busts it across the 45-yard line inside the 45. So another good starting field position for Wilmington, already leading 2-0 with 7:05 to go. It's Campus Nation. The YouTube channel tomorrow will have this broadcast. Right now we're on Facebook Live.
Hurricane ball, 1st and 10 from the 42.
The whole crew's here tonight. I'm Tony Mancuso, Jeff Merklin on the color, Joe Holdren on the camera, Sidney Phillips on the electronics. Homecoming night. There's a pitch this time to Wrigley.
Number 1, Isaiah Wrigley, the ball carrier.
Starts off as the Isaiah
Coming out of
Wrigley
bounds,
drive.
number 3, Bradford O'Donnell.
Kick return and
That
then
play is good for a Hurricane. First down.
end around type of pitch.
Just a quick pitch out of the pistol formation. Ringling showed a lot of speed getting the corner.
So here's a no back set. Wrigley fakes around. McElroy fires deep downfield. Oh, incomplete. Jeff Valentine with a nice effort.
McElroy's pass intended for number 39,
That
Jeff
ball seemed right on
Valentine.
the money.
That pass falls
Beautiful,
incomplete.
beautiful concept on that play. You set trips to your left out of an empty set, and then you bring motion that way. Goshen did not have the adjustment. They did not have enough players on that side of the field to guard everybody. Beautiful read by McAvoy. I think he held it just a little bit too long, as wide open as the receiver was, and the ball ended up close to the end of the end line. But it was a good throw. Very good play by the Goshen defender to get back in it.
There's Stat Stuckey again is tripped up and pulled backwards for a loss.
Number 26, Thad Stuckey, the ball carrier.
Wilmington did have good field position, Tony, but I go back to the safety not being maybe the worst thing in the world. My guess is that Wilmington started the ball this drive at their up at Goshen's 41. It probably would have been 25, maybe the 30 if Goshen had to punt out of their own end zone. So this may not be really bad for Goshen if they can get him off the field.
Just under 6 minutes, it's 3rd and 11. Empty backfield again. That ball falls incomplete.
McAvoy's pass intended for number 10, Kai Bozarth. And that pass falls incomplete.
Little tunnel screen, which took longer to run than usually you see. Not sure why that is. You know, McAvoy does have this beautiful ball, and he's only hitting, coming into this game, 43%, which even for high school is, you know, less than what you want to see. But he's had the ball on the money 3 times. I haven't seen, you know, Wilmington play this year. I'm wondering if they're having trouble catching the ball this year.
So it's a 4th and 11. Wilmington goes. There's a long ball down the field, and it is broken up. Incomplete. A great play by the defensive back. All intended for number 10. That's
McAvoy's
Kai
pass intended for
Bozarth.
number 10, Kai Bozarth.
Another beautiful looking throw, but not caught.
That one was right on the screws, throwing the only place that the receiver could catch it.
Okay, turnover on downs.
Being an ex-quarterback, I feel a little sad for McAvoy right now.
From the 31.
He's 0 for 4, but he's had the ball on target 4 times.
Yeah, he's had some balls dropped. So we're 5:43. So you're right. Your theory of that not being so bad is correct because Goshen takes over, only down 2-0, and they're out in the shadows of their goal line at their own 30.
Well, you figure you're going to have to score to win anyway, so I think that's a plus for him.
There's a handoff, number 7. That's Gabe Cope. He calls
Number 7, Gabe Cook, the ball carrier. Stop on the play.
Actually, he has the most attempts, although quarterback Bryce has
That brings
the
up second
most
down,
yards.
10.
Not much there. The officials mark it at no gain. 2nd and 10. Coming up on 5:10 to go in the first quarter. Wilmington 2, Goshen 0. There's Bryce on the keeper, and he's got a lot of room. Inside the 40, he's tackled at about the 36. The tackle made by Elijah Collins.
Quarterback keeper.
It seemed like Bryce Brewer
Tackle on the
was
play
headed
by number
for
4, Elijah Collins.
Another beautifully designed play by Goshen. He had trips left. He had a running back still in the backfield, but they sent him wide. Quarterback looked one way and just kept it right up the middle. They ran a little trap up the middle, and there was nobody in the safety position to catch him because they had to cover the wideouts.
So Goshen's on the move at their own at the Wilmington 36. There's a ball picked off. Intercepted. Bryce Brewer looking around, fires it up there. And it's picked
Pass intercepted by
by number 6, Mike Brown. So the Wilmington defense turns the ball over with 4:24 left,
First and 10 from the 21.
leading 2-0. What happened there?
Bryce took his time in the pocket, kind of rolled out when nobody was open. I'd like to have seen him just run the ball after we saw how well he can run. Tried to force it a little bit down the sidelines. Again, he was kind of, he was not getting his body, as we say, going downhill. And he kind of fell off the pass, and it came up a little short.
Let's see what Wilmington does with this drive. There's a handoff up the middle, and that's number 11. Zane Cohen with the ball carrier.
Number 11, Zane Cowan, the ball carrier.
Zane Cowan, the ball carrier.
With 9 on the play.
Looks like there's a flag down, and the officials are huddling up, trying to figure out what happened. Who do we penalize this time?
That ball foul. Personal foul. Offense.
So it's a personal foul on Wilmington?
Yes, so
What'd you see?
I did not see it.
I didn't catch any.
It was after the play, dead ball, and so Cowan gets credit for the 5 yards, but they're set back 15, and it stays first down.
Second down, count.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry, dead ball.
So Wilmington's shooting themselves in the foot here starting off. That ball's all the way back to the 13.
It's not been an exquisitely played game yet.
There's a ball into the line. It's number 11, Zane Cowan with the carry.
Number 11, Zane Cowan, the ball carrier. Shoot that at the line.
So it's 3rd and forever. Wilmington's offense is sputtering some too, Jeff. You'd think But tonight would be the night to light it up, and it's not happened yet.
Well, as we said in the pregame, Goshen's given up 36, almost 37 points a game. Wilmington's averaging 27. You're right, but Goshen is coming out playing very well.
They're Stuckey, and there he goes, bursting ahead, breaks a tackle to the 45 and about midfield. A big run by number 26. The junior running back, Dad Stuckey, gets him out of harm's way with a long run to midfield.
That plays good for a Hurricane.
Good looking play, John.
Not just enough of a gap, hit it,
Hit it quick.
and he is really quick through the hole as we saw last year.
So 3:23 left first quarter. Wilmington converts a 3rd and long on a run by Stuckey, leading 2-0. McElroy drops, has time, plenty of time, throws downfield. Another Wilmington drop. That time Isaiah Ribbon.
McElroy's pass is intended for number 7, Aiden Price.
No, check that. It was Aiden Price on the drop.
Correction, that was number 1,
Not
Isaiah
Isaiah.
Ribbon. That pass falls incomplete.
Was it?
It's number 11.
I think it was.
Eddie Cowan?
No, it wasn't Cal.
Maybe I'm wrong about that.
It was either 1 or 7. It's hard to see up here. But either way, it's incomplete. So there's a pitch to Stuckey, who gets it
26
inside the
pass Stuckey, the
50,
ball carrier.
brought down around the 46. Third and 6.
See if Goshen can get out. I believe they're probably playing one of their best quarters of the year. The offense has had the one good play, but they've kept Wilmington out of the end zone. They've got to be encouraged by that.
There's McElroy rolling out, and it ball is juggled, and it's caught.
It was dropped again, but
What a heads-up play by number 15, Josh Snell. That ball batted around, and Josh Snell was Johnny on the spot with the catch.
I couldn't see who the intended receiver was. He was fairly closely guarded, but the ball again was right on the money. He was bobbling it. It popped up in the air, and Snell picked it up and ran for 23 yards.
Not quite how it was designed on the chart.
If you're McAvoy, you'll take whatever you can get after 5
There
drops.
goes Stuckey, breaking tackles on the side.
26 pass Stuckey, the ball carrier. Brought down number 6,
Actually,
Andrew
that was
Morris.
a drop too. That was
Correct.
luckily ricocheted to the right color.
That's exactly correct.
I guess if you guys catch it, it's a
First down.
good play.
Like I say, if you're a quarterback, if you throw the ball 1 yard downfield and he runs it for 70, you look good. That's kind of the same concept there.
70-yard touchdown.
Correct. I lived for those.
Stuckey gets
Number 26 pass
jammed
Stuckey,
up
the ball
about the
carrier.
8-yard line. Second and goal again.
That brings up 2nd down and 9.
Make it 9. Can they get a first down or is it goal?
Goal to go. The ball was placed right at the 10-yard line after Stuckey's.
So we're heading
Nice
down to
run.
a minute and 10 to go, first quarter. It's 2-0. Wilmington threatening again for another touch or first touchdown. Stuckey on the pitch,
He's got the corner.
and he's in for the
But I think you have a hold.
Stuckey, the ball
Hold
carrier.
on the edge.
For a touchdown, Wilmington.
That's coming back.
There's a flag on the play.
He threw the flags in Jeff Valentine's direction, number 39. And yes, it's coming back.
It looked like he just got the defender hooked
Flag
and
is against Wilmington.
couldn't get his arm out of the hook position. I'm not sure what happened, but pretty clear call, especially out there in the open. 2 referees caught it.
So White the touchdown off the board for Wilmington. And now they're backed up all the way near the 20 with 2nd and goal.
After the flag, that brings up 2nd down and 19.
Holding. 39 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Those officials, about everybody threw a flag. There's an empty again. McAvoy to Wrigley.
You're going to get a penalty on that, Tony. That was a rub pass to the left, but instead of going out and setting a screen like you do in basketball, the slot person went out and actually blocked the cornerback so that the wideout could come back to the ball, and they caught that. Whether there was a fumble, I don't know. It looks like Goshen thinks there was.
Well, the teams are flipping offenses and defenses, so there was a flag for an illegal kick, but it's going to be declined. And there was a fumble at the end, recovered by Goshen on their 11. See, that's what worried me about Wilmington, as I mentioned earlier. You're thinking you got all the stats and you're not concentrating, you're dropping balls, turning it over inside your own red zone twice. Here's a run by, who was it?
Number 7, Gabe Cook, the ball carrier.
Gabe Cope.
I'm not sure what happened. He gained 9 yards.
But they're moving it back. I know I saw a 9-yard gain too, but
But I never saw a flag.
they're not giving him 9 yards.
Are we going to get a call? No, we're going to get a zebra explanation.
Well, he's coming over to Coach Killer to try to explain what the call was. It is on Goshen.
Must be a hold.
Holding. Number 50.
It is holding.
Offense. 10-yard penalty. Defeat first down.
So a good run. I think the clock has run out for the quarter.
Please put 32 seconds.
32
It
seconds.
should not have run out on the penalty.
We had a dead stop. So
That's a mistake. Are they going to correct it?
they're going to correct it and put 32 back on the clock. So Goshen is in a precarious position here again, backed up at their own 6.
Tony, I'm puzzled. The scoreboard had that 2nd down. I thought the Cope run was 1st down.
Yeah, I would agree. That was handled confused. There is an injury timeout. There's a Goshen player down. Looks like number 6 with Dylan Anderson for 0 lead. They haven't exactly lit it up against the 0-6 Warriors.
Goshen is showing some spunk. I really like the defense. They've been fortunate in many respects because the drop passes have been, Wilmington really could have 2 or 3 touchdowns if the passes had been caught. Again, and there'd be tough catches for kids, but the ball was right there. So credit Goshen with being close in the coverage.
How do you keep a team 0-6 focused and thinking that to play hard? How do you do that?
It's not easy. I've had a few teams in my career as a coach that were struggling. And at that point, what you try to do is try to make it as fun as you can for them. The drills that you run still have to be fundamentally sound to teach them the game, but you try to maybe put a different spin on it, maybe some competitions between groups of players. Do the best you can. You shorten practices so it's not so tedious. And of course, kids are only allowed to hit very limited amount of hours per week anyway, and so you might even cut that down.
Well, Wilmington's going to let the first quarter clock run out. Well, Goshen is, because they're on offense. So Goshen is not going to run a play, and they let the quarter run out. And we're at the end of the first quarter, and it's Wilmington 2, Goshen 0. So no touchdowns.
Well, you had one, but it was called back. Wilmington's just played a sloppy game in terms of keeping your focus. You may have a point there.
Yeah, I don't think they are. It doesn't seem.
It's either that or they're pressing, thinking they should be winning. It's one or the other. But they obviously aren't on top of their game one way or the other right now. Too many mistakes. The thing about it is, though, if you give a team a chance to start believing, still by, say, the middle of the second quarter, then you got a dogfight on your hands.
Right, because the Goshen kids want to win games too. What a treat for a team that hasn't won yet to be competitive and be hanging in.
That is exactly right. When you have a team that's struggling, they finally do get a win. The kids really do enjoy it, and you just focus on that moment.
So let's reintroduce everyone. I'm Tony Mancuso, Jeff Merklin on the color, Joe Holdren on the camera, Sydney Phillips on the electricity. We're here at Alumni Field, the Facebook channel of Campus Nation, as we start quarter number 2 on homecoming night, Wilmington High School. Beautiful night. The crowd does seem electric.
It is a nice atmosphere here in Wilmington. Again, Friday night lights, as you say. No matter what the records are, people like the kids in their communities. People like to come out and enjoy themselves. And again, the year after COVID, hopefully people understand and appreciate what they're able to do a little more freely this
So
year.
it's 3rd and 17. Tough sledding for the Goshen offense. And he's in trouble again, and how about that? When do you see 2 safeties in a game?
I think he got out. Nope, you're right.
It is a sack safety. Derek Purdue for Wilmington gets credit for the safety. How about that? It is 4-0.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a score 4-0 in football before.
Who's pitching? Is it Clayton Kershaw?
Well,
Who's out there?
it's not one of
Shutout.
it's not one of the Reds pitchers.
4-0 with 11 to go. How would you have guessed coming in here that the first 2 scores of this game would be safety? And you're at 4-0. You get another one, you'd be at 6. And if you just got the game pass, you're going to touchdown.
The only time I can ever think you might consider 4 as a score in a football game is if you're dreaming about football but having a weird dream and one team has 4 points. I've never seen it in reality.
I honestly cannot remember seeing that either at any level of football. It's a baseball or soccer score, 4-0. Not even soccer, really. More baseball if you've got an ace pitcher. How about Wriggling? That's Isaiah Wriggling with a great return on the free kick. And again, Wilmington inside the 40 of the Goshen Warriors takes over after the second free kick.
Right now, if you're the coach, the offensive coordinator, you're getting your kids together before you send them on the field and say, look, it's time to buckle down. No more mistakes.
Right, you need a touchdown.
Get your assignments, carry them out, and let's get the ball down there and score.
Well, it hasn't actually necessarily been a juggernaut of an offensive performance yet. Let's see if Wilmington can settle in with a touchdown drive. And there's Dad Stuckey up the middle on the handoff.
26, Dad Stuckey, the ball
Gets to
carrier.
about the 30. 4-0.
Jack number 43, Wilmington Buchanan.
If you're just tuning in, that is the correct score. Wilmington
There's a second down
4,
and 5.
Goshen 0. Like a grand slam home run.
Bottom of the first.
There's Stuckey with an open lane and takes it inside the 20.
The ball carrier. Tackle by number 6, Andrew Morris. That play results in a hurricane. First down.
Does my heart good to see the offense Wilmington has come out with on this drive. The I formation from the 70s. I love it. Herschel Walker's offense.
Fullback. Why did that become
Number 26, Dad Stuckey, the ball carrier.
obsolete?
Primarily because the offensive and defensive linemen got so big, it was really hard, even with good angles, to move people out of the way at the higher levels. And, of course, the NFL has always been about entertainment and passing. I think it just over the years, it's filtered down to where the theory is let's get kids the ball out in the green areas.
Well, Josh Snell leading Stuckey into the line, and he barrels ahead inside the 10 to about the 7. I think they're going to give. Are they going to give him the first down?
No, give him
just
short.
So definitely 4 down territory for Wilmington down in this
There's a third down and 1.
It's 3rd and 1, but I think we've got 4 downs coming. There it is again, the same, and a timeout for Goshen.
I know it dates us, but you remember Herschel Walker coming out of that I formation, don't you?
Sure, of course.
At this time, I'd like to introduce the Wilmington High School cheerleader.
Pretty good player.
Start with our birthday girl, Justice Bell.
I think he's running for senator.
I think you're right.
Wendy Parker.
Oh, I always
Baby
liked Herschel.
Sam.
Very classy
Allison
person.
Smith. McKenna Tolliver. Elizabeth Custis.
They're announcing the
Nia
cheerleader.
Green. Lady Mayer. Haley Toledo. Katie
Work
Bayless.
hard too.
Lila Kirk. Lucy Kramer. Kenzie Parker. And Bryn Tibbett. Another big round of applause for your Wilmington High School cheerleaders.
So the crowd cheers the cheerleaders this time. So it's 3rd and 1 from about the 9. And big Josh Snell, he's the short yardage
Number 15, Josh Snell. the ball carrier.
bulldozer out of the fullback position.
Top 89 by the Rory defense. That play results in a hurricane.
You're right.
First down.
It is a relic from the past, seeing a fullback get the ball in short yardage.
First and goal.
We don't even have a fullback in most high schools or colleges anymore, and in the pros, he only blocks and catches passes.
Where many teams don't even have that position. Some still do, many don't. They're stuck in untouched.
The ball carrier in the end zone for a touchdown.
Bad Stuckey.
Wilmington.
A short run for a touchdown. Wilmington takes a 10-0
Parker
lead,
Henry in to complete the point after.
ending the Parker Henry extra point. The Red Sea opened that time, so.
Kids seemed a lot calmer and more determined that drive. That was a very nice drive, well put together, well blocked.
The clock is running on the extra point, of course, which shouldn't be happening. So let's see what they put back on there.
Please reset the clock to 8:33.
So it is 8:33.
Thank you.
The Thad Stuckey touchdown run. Clock doesn't run on point after touchdowns, as you know. So they got that corrected, and Parker Henry on for the point. A high snap. The kick is down and good.
That brings their score to Wilmington 11, Goshen 0.
Another odd score. It gets to 11 to 0. So Wilmington 11, Goshen nothing.
Another Hurricane Athletic News.
With 8:33
football team
left.
travels to Goshen tomorrow for
Second
10 a.m.
quarter.
kickoff. Cross country will run across the creek event.
Goshen having a hard
Girls
time
golf, boys golf,
moving
and
the
girls
ball.
tennis will start their sectional tournaments
One
next
play.
week.
The play that worked for him was to spread Wilmington out totally
on Thursday.
and open the middle for the quarterback to run up the middle and see what they do with it. I think they need a score now. Wilmington seems like they've kind of got things righted.
Well, they're ahead 11-0. It may not be the most traditional way to get to 11, but two safeties and a touchdown and a point after equals 11. So Henry with the big kick, and it's going to be brought out. Looks like number 6. Is that Andrew Morris on the kick return? Make it number 8. Peyton Montgomery. Let's hear the official
Number 7, Gabe Cook, fielded the kick.
take. I was wrong all
The
3
Goshen
times.
ball, first and 10 from the 15.
Cope again.
It's Gabe Cope on the kick return. That didn't look like a 7, but I guess so.
I'm not sure if Goshen has started a drive outside of where they're at right now. Have they? Maybe
The one time they were at the 30.
at the 30. All right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
On the flip of the first safety. There goes Bryce Brewer up the middle.
Number 19, Bryce Brewer, the ball carrier.
It's just got to be so frustrating when you just cannot get anything going
To the line, big hurt.
all year long like this for the Warriors. The effort is there. It's just not.
And they've got size.
They're overmatched, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for Goshen tonight with the Wilmington line, which does have experience. We talked last year about Brett Brooks, and he's out there again. He's having a good
When
evening.
you just have no semblance of any passing game, no passing threat, not
Bryce Brewer, the ball
a
carrier.
dynamic
Size for
system,
59, Derek Purdue.
no dynamic runner. It just gets difficult to move the ball. Coming up on 7:15 to go in the first half. It's Wilmington 11, Goshen 0. Homecoming night, Alumni Field. So another third and about 6. There's a swing pass. It's very well defended. Going nowhere for Goshen.
Brewer's pass is complete to number 7, Gabe Cook. Stop on the play, number 15, Josh Snell.
And out comes the punting unit
The loss of 2 on the play.
on a third down loss.
Brings up second down or fourth down and 8. Back to receiving punt number 3, Adrian Cook, and number 1, Isaiah Wrigley.
So let's see if Goshen can flip field position. There goes Adrian Cody down the left sideline. breaking it back, cutting it inside, all the way to the 4-yard line. What a return.
That's some speed there, Tony.
Adrian Cody. The ball bounces and off he goes like shot out of a rocket.
Just a junior. Got a lot more football here for Wilmington for him.
How about that?
Beautiful. I was afraid he was going to let it bounce and it was going to keep going, but he made a beautiful play to make sure he caught it, didn't drop the tumbling football, made a beautiful return.
I predict number 15, Josh Snell. Let's see.
I think you're going to get tailback.
There's Stuckey. Now here comes Snell. Stuckey is stopped at the 1.
26, stuck in the ball carrier. Check number 75, Anthony Lagerman.
Make it to 2. So it's 2nd and goal from the 2.
Second down, goal.
Coming up on the 6-minute mark of quarter number 2.
Tony, that play was made by Anthony Lagerman for Goshen. I've seen him out on several plays tonight.
There we go. The fullback touchdown buster. Josh Snell. The kid knows how to score.
He's big.
Parker Henry injured at the point after.
If you had a team, a fantasy high school football team that was based on touchdowns, Josh Snell would be a high pick. Parker Henry last gets the point.
Our score was 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Wilmington 18, Goshen 0.
So it extends the Wilmington lead to 18-0. That play set up by the great punt return by Adrian Cody.
Play their final regular season game at Goshen on Monday. And varsity football will travel to New Richmond next Friday night.
So 18-0.
Tony, so far, unofficially, Stuckey has 19 carries for 114 yards in the first half. Pretty good body of work.
That's a lot. You think that's right? It sure didn't seem it. That's a quiet number 16.
Well, the 19 carries, remember, too. So that's a bundle for one half of football.
Number 6 for Goshen on the kick return. That's Andrew Morris. Let's see if I got it right that time. Yes, Andrew Morris on the kick return. So it is 18-0, and what do you do if you're Goshen?
Keep trying. You can't quit.
That's all you can do.
The Goshen ball, 1st and 10 from the 19.
You got to feel bad for the kids coming in 0-6, been blown out all 6 games. And they're on the verge of being blown out here as Wilmington's opened up 18-0. Bryce Brewer running for his life, and he is manhandled by the Wilmington defense.
Bryce Brewer, the quarterback, taken down in the backfield, number 39, Jeff Valentine.
Jeff Valentine on the tackle.
Had no chance. Again,
Second down, 20.
Wilmington is attacking the A gaps, which is the gap to either side of the center. I don't even see them blitzing much. They're just attacking right up the middle, and Goshen is unable to stop, give Bryce any amount of time.
So it's 2nd and 20. There's a handoff to Cope, and he is manhandled also. So Goshen can get nothing at all moving offense. Nothing.
Driven backwards by a storm of Hurricane defenders.
The PA announcer calling it a storm of defenders. Hurricane is the perfect nickname tonight.
The perfect storm.
A defensive hurricane. 4:35 left, and I'm not sure what Goshen can do. Really.
Well, I really don't want another safety. I'd almost consider a quick kick. Nobody really does that anymore, but you might get a chance if you did that to get the ball rolling.
Well, it's 3rd and 21, and it is a timeout for Goshen. So let's see if they have something tricky planned. The Goshen coaching staff, led by Coach Greg Miller. Special teams coordinator Tyler Bob.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget about all the
They have a quick
opportunities
kick in their arsenal. We'll see.
We got a 50-50 raffle sponsored by our cheerleaders. Those of on the concession stand, get those tickets.
It's just not,
Our wrestling team is selling out
the viewers can see it. The kids are playing hard. It's just that there's just no ability to move the ball at all.
Well, I'm trying to see if the linemen are young kids, and the only one I've been able to see so far, given how the game's gone, is the one I've seen this kid make a couple good blocks for Goshen. That's number 70, Derek Johnson. He's 6 foot 285, and he is a sophomore.
That's a big kid.
You know, Johnny, when we did the Wilmington-Goshen game down at Goshen last year, it was a really good game. And Goshen played very well. I can assume they lost a lot of seniors off that team.
Well, here they come to the line, 3rd and forever. And Bryce back to pass, and he does slip out of the safety. I think that's going to be an illegal forward pass. If they don't throw a flag, he was over the line of scrimmage.
By several yards.
4 yards.
First pass intended for number 25, Corbin Miller.
I don't think
Now, how about that? Now, an official had to say, oh, just forget it.
No, you're not allowed to do
Well,
that.
I agree.
Brings up 4th
Yeah.
down, 21.
It had
When
to
you see a
be
penalty, you got to see it.
either way. It's not very good. If you're either letting it go or if you're that clueless.
Well, how can that not be a penalty?
He was almost to the 15-yard line.
Isaiah Ridley. And number 3, Adrian Booth.
That is one of the most amazing calls. The throw was close to the 15. Well, oh well. Great kick. And Wilmington muffs it. Adrian Cody does pick it up. Still on his feet. And here he goes. He gets a block, and he might go all the way, Jeff.
It'll come back, Tony. It'll come back.
What a run.
Tremendous effort. I think he ran about 120 yards to go 50
He
or go
ran all
about
the way
40.
to the right. He muffed the kick and then started a sprint to the right. And then came all the way to the left for a touchdown return. But it's coming back.
I think you're going to get either the hold or the block in the back. I saw something out of the corner of my eye that seemed not quite right, and then the flag flew in right about to that area.
I want to ask about the officiating because here's a kick return called back when on the play before, unless we were watching a different sport, it looked clearly that Bryce Brewer was 4 or 5 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage.
And he'd worked his way out of the pocket, and when he released the ball, or thereabouts, he was right in front of the linesman.
He just let it go, said forget it.
I don't know. You're standing right on the line of scrimmage if you're the linesman. I don't get
And
it.
it was clear he passed him, and he passed the stick,
I thought he'd decide to run the ball.
but he threw it. Obviously threw it.
Amazing.
Well, how about that? One of life's great mysteries. They take a touchdown off the board for Wilmington. McAvoy on the keeper slinks his way to about the 43.
The quarterback keeper.
3:40 to go, first half. Wilmington leading 18-0. I'd love to know what happened on those two calls, back to back.
Brings up second down and 4.
Goshen's made a change in their defense, at least on that first play. Maybe it was the formation, but they went with a 5-man line. Now they're back to the 4-man line.
McAvoy on the keeper does get the first down inside the 35 to the 32.
Number 13, Cameron McAvoy, the ball carrier.
So Wilmington's threatening to score again before the half.
That plays good for a Hurricane. First down.
Already leading 18-0 on their homecoming night. Clearly in control. I don't know how Goshen can get 3 touchdowns the way they're moving the ball. My goodness. They are working hard, but it's just a total domination by the Wilmington defense, totally. I only remember one positive play. What do you have on the stats? I have one recollection of one keeper by Bryce Brewer.
You have 2 plays of positive yardage. Actually, no, 2 plays. One was the Brewer had a 33-yard run and he had a 4-yard run. All other plays are either 0 or negative, even the one completed pass they have.
That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
I don't know what happened to the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a family car key. Looks like a rental car key.
So we're 2 minutes and 46 seconds to go till the half.
Looks like a Dodge Challenger.
It is Wilmington leading on their homecoming night 18-0.
Stop by the press box here.
Threatening to get more. Wilmington would love a touchdown before the half. There's a reverse, and it looks like a throw, and it is going to be caught by Stuckey, and he is still on his feet, and he is So a wide receiver pass, Jeff.
Yeah, Tanner Killen, the coach's son, threw that one.
The Thad Stuckey. So a little trickery by
Parker Henry,
Coach
Killen.
Killen. So Tanner Killen a TD pass to Thad Stuckey. That's Thad's second touchdown tonight.
That puts him up around 150 yards total offense tonight. Yards from scrimmage, anyway.
Goshen, 0.
That kick was no good.
He missed it, yes.
So Parker Henry's point after is no good. We're at 24-0 with 2:36 left. Total domination tonight. Wilmington sputtered at the start. But, hey, the field position has been so flipped in favor of Wilmington. These drives are short drives, and they're now clicking.
You have a combination of, from the beginning of the game, Goshen in difficult field positions. So even though Wilmington wasn't scoring, they were keeping the ball deep in Goshen territory. And if you don't get first downs, eventually the dam's going to break.
Your heart goes out to these Goshen kids because they have just struggled all year long. Tonight they're struggling again. There's no magic potion that snaps them out of it.
Well, something's up. They have good-looking athletes. The coaches are putting in game plans. I like some of the things I've seen, so I'm not quite sure how to explain it. Obviously, they don't have all top personnel, but it's quite a different group than what we saw last year.
So the Wilmington, there's an injury, I think. We got a timeout or an injury.
Well, with all the players kneeling, that indicates an injury somewhere. I don't see where.
We didn't catch who. So the players are all kneeling down. Somebody's hurt. We'll report it when we get official word, but it's 2:36 left, first half. It's Wilmington 24 and Goshen 0.
I'm absolutely at a loss, Tony. I
So
don't
we
see
haven't
the
had
player.
the kickoff yet.
Something is
Something's
maybe
amiss.
serious because kids take a knee when somebody on either team is hurt. I don't even see any medical personnel. Somebody came and got the gator. We're talking something serious when you get the gator out.
Well, let's see where it goes. The odd thing about that was that it was a stoppage of play.
Looks like it's going to the stands, the visitors' stands.
Let's see. I'm going to get these binoculars out and see if I can catch what is going on. And you can hear the ambulance coming.
Wonder if you have a heart attack situation. Don't want to speculate, but something very serious is going on in the Goshen stand, right in front of the band.
There is someone down.
Is it a coach? Can you tell?
The person is moving, Jeff, so thank goodness for that. They are moving. I cannot tell if it's a coach or a fan or a player.
One thing I'd like to comment on, and I've noticed this the last few years when I was playing in high school, and not just at home, but on the road games, there was always an ambulance right at the field. I don't see that so much anymore.
Well,
I'm
you
sure
can hear 'em
they're
coming.
close by because you can hear them coming, but I always wonder why they did away with the ambulances actually being at the field.
They have one.
Is there?
The EMS personnel is with them. They called another bus.
Oh,
What'd you hear, Jeff?
apparently there is. It's hard for me to see.
I can't tell that it's a player or if it's
That is awful scary. We can't tell from here. I do see them moving. There is some flapping of hands.
It looks like it's on the track behind the bench. I'm wondering if it's a coach. I just don't have the eyes that can see that far anymore.
The person is moving. My goodness. You don't want to see that. And they're moving the Goshen team off the sideline for the ambulance to come in. So we're at a somber moment here at the Alumni field. Something has happened on the Goshen sidelines. In comes the Wilmington Fire Department and EMS crew. All the training staff and the medics on the field working on the person. How stunning. Okay, they're lifting The gurney, yeah. Person is strapped in. Is it a player? I believe it's a player, Jeff. It is a player.
It looks like gray pants.
It's
That's the
a
only thing
player.
I know.
They took the jersey and
I'm guessing he went over there and collapsed.
it is a player. So we don't know who the player was or what happened, but it is definitely a Goshen player. They got the pads and the uniform jersey off of him, and he is strapped into the gurney and
You say his shoulder pads?
yes,
He must have
pads
had
and jersey are gone.
obviously he's either a neck or something about the chest.
What a
But my
somber
goodness.
line. Yeah, that's awful.
Well, it could have been a seizure. They
Yeah,
strapped me to a board.
We just don't know. Obviously, something was wrong
And obviously it was serious.
because the kickoff was delayed and the players were kneeling down, and at first glance, you couldn't tell what happened. And then the emergency crews came on.
That's off to our first responders.
And they are taking the Goshen gentlemen away. And off they go. So if we get some official word, we'll pass it along, certainly. But it did not look great. Let's hope it's a happier ending for whatever happened. You hate to see that. I just can't stand seeing that.
No, and we shouldn't speculate, but it did appear to be pretty serious. And I know, being a coach, you have to take CPR training in the state of Ohio, and just thinking about the courses I've taken, when you get the shoulder pads and the jersey cut off, that's something that's very concerning.
Well, I didn't see CPR administered. That's why it makes me believe it was some sort of a head or neck injury.
I'm thinking it wasn't a neck, because you wouldn't think that they would have cut off the jersey and the shoulder pads to jostle it around, but I don't know. What's taking them so long to
So
go?
the ambulance hasn't left. They're still on the scene in the parking lot.
There it goes.
Now they're wheeled away. We don't like to see that, folks. So a somber moment here at Alumni Field.
Well, Goshen's going to go back on the field, and hats off to their kids. We were talking earlier in the game about Wilmington's state of mind coming into a ball game like this. State of mind when you see one of your teammates go down and hauled off in an ambulance. You're struggling with your season. So hats off to Goshen's coaches and their players to come back out here, and I'm sure they're going to continue to give it their best effort.
Back to the scene, Henry's kick, number 6, Andrew Morris, and number 22, Austin Lewis.
Well, here we go. I guess we're going to try to play. So 2:36 to go till halftime. And here comes Parker Henry's kick, and we're resuming play. That's actually about one of the best field positions they've had.
I think you're right.
Andrew Morris brings it out to
Number 40, Jason Dodge.
about the 23 yard line. I'm sure it's hard to stay focused when you have an event like that.
Goshen ball, first and 10 from the 23.
Like you say, you're already struggling on the field. To have an off the field matter occur like that. So 2:30 to go till halftime. It's Wilmington 24 on homecoming night. Goshen 0.
Looks like you're going to get a sophomore and a quarterback, Tony. Corbin Miller.
I wonder if that was.
I wonder if it was
Yeah.
Bryce.
You know what? Let me see if I see him on the side. It's an
Number
interesting-
7, Gabe Cook, the ball carrier.
So who's the new QB?
Loss of 2 on the play, bringing up second down.
Corbin Miller, a sophomore, Tony.
Maybe Bryce was hurt on the touchdown run somehow. And that's the player they took off the field. I don't want to speculate. But that would explain why he's not in the game.
Time caught by Wilmington.
So Wilmington stops the clock. I don't want to speculate, but that's possibly what happened, Jeff. Because I do not see him on the side.
Yep, good-looking athlete. No matter who it is, it's very scary, and hope and pray that he's going to be okay. Wilmington has
Well, there's another injury that they're working on a kid on the sideline that is taking his pads off. You can't tell who it is. He's getting some sort of
All right, he entered the drawing.
attention
We'll
in
take
his
the
neck.
field goal halftime. I had that winning ticket number. That number is 243-421. Again, if you entered that drawing to kick the field goal at halftime,
It's a
that number is
dangerous game.
243-421.
it most certainly is.
Right here at the halftime.
Injuries are part of.
Many parents, the last 8 to 10 years, have forbid their children from playing football.
Number 16, Cameron Barrow, the ball carrier.
So Cameron Barrio on the ball carrier, and that goes nowhere too.
Tony, the more I'm able to review the Goshen roster, it appears they do have quite a few sophomores out there.
Kyle Wilmington.
So Coach Killen wants more points, stops the clock twice.
It's Wilmington's third time out of the first half.
Wondering if he's going to try to get it at 30 and then maybe offer to call the game given what's happened. I don't know.
Well, we'll see about that.
Once again, if you signed up for that raffle, sponsored by Wilmington Auto Center, Fresh Production.
I wouldn't think they'd call the
That number
girls
is
or team on homecoming night.
421.
Maybe at a minimum he wants to get it at 30 so they can get out of the second half a lot faster.
You're taking a field goal at halftime for $82. After that punt that was raised today, you're going to be down in the end zone by the flagpole.
Well, it's 24-0 with a minute 23 left. So there's going to be a punt here by Goshen. And actually, wasn't Bryce Brewer the punter?
I believe he
So
was.
he's now not punting. And this is Tracker Newberry on the punt. So he kicks it out of there. Good kick. And Isaiah Wrigley lets roll and roll and roll, and it's down at about the 44. So you're right. Wilmington does have plenty of time to go down and score, leading 24-0 already.
After the kick, it'll be Wilmington ball. First and 10 from the 44.
The field position of this game has been amazing. It's just Goshen has just been pinned down. Wilmington's had tremendous field position on every drop. So here they are starting on their own 44. And they want to score. Look, spread offense. McElroy takes the snap and fires it out to Wrigley. He's caught. He's inside the 35, about the 31.
McElroy's pass complete to number 1, Isaiah
The first
Wrigley.
down, make it to 30. So a quick
Carried by number
play.
3,
McElroy to Wrigley.
That play is good for
And you're
her.
right, Jeff. They're in a hurry up formation and moving quick. McElroy guns it, and he is wide open. Oh, Hawkins. Wide open was Cameron.
McElroy's pass intended for number 1,
Excuse
Isaiah
me,
Wrigley.
Isaiah
Pass ball
Wrigley.
incomplete.
Running free.
Brings up second down and 10.
Just a hair overthrown. Just a hair.
When he's that open, you try to teach your quarterbacks just lob it out there. It's almost like mentally it's a tougher pass when he's wide open like that than when somebody's in the area and you're kind of zeroed in on where you got to put it.
So we're at 1 minute left in the first half. And you're right, Wilmington's pedal to the metal. They're trying to score. And they gun the ball down to the end zone again, and that one's not close. Cameron way overthrew that.
McElroy's pass was intended for number 1, Isaiah Wrigley. That pass falls incomplete.
So now we're
third
third and
down and 10.
with 54 seconds left. And of course, this is 4 down territory too. You're not going to see a punt or field goal.
It's almost like maybe Coach Killen has told McAvoy to go to the end zone because they have time, and the short men have been open those last 2 passes.
Well, that ball is tossed over the middle to Wriggling. He breaks free, and he's inside the 20 to about the 12.
McElroy's pass is complete to number 1, Isaiah Wrigley.
So Wilmington in a hurry-up offense with another first down. 44 seconds left, and McElroy spikes it to stop the clock at 42 seconds. So Wilmington, a good-looking drive, threatening to score here with no timeouts, leading 24-0.
Second down and 10.
So McElroy kills the clock with the spike. Back to pass, fires it, it's caught by Stuckey, and that's going nowhere.
McElroy's pass is complete.
Great effort by the Goshen defense. 26 seconds and counting. Still have time for 1, maybe 2 plays. McElroy back, looking in the end zone, rolls out, still looking, fires, and it is incomplete. So 9 seconds left,
McElroy's pass was intended for number 10, Kai Bozarth. That pass falls incomplete.
and they are kicking,
Parker
sending out
Henry
the
into
kick.
a 5th field goal.
Parker Henry with a field goal attempt. Looks like it'll be about a 20, 30-yarder, marked at the 20.
Say, Tony, he's only tried 2 this year. Let's see if he can knock this one
It's
down.
blocked.
Bad snap or a high snap. It wasn't handled by the
Snap was
holder.
high, and
Henry's kick is no good.
that really
Who's
never
gonna
got
score?
off the ground.
24, Goshen, 0.
It was a good time to try and practice your field goal unit. in a game that you have totally under control, leading 24-0.
Yeah, I think some people may not know what's really going on, would say you're up 24-0. The other team has just had a kid carted off in an ambulance and you're out there passing. I really think that Coach Killen was thinking if we can score there, we get it to 30 earlier, the earlier that they can get out. And if nothing else, we get a practice or 2-minute offense and maybe even try a field goal, which is what happened. So there's nothing wrong with that at all.
I agree. Goshen in the kneel down formation, and that's going to end the first half. So a totally dominating first half performance. It's the Wilmington Hurricane 44, the Goshen Warriors 0. We've reached halftime here at Campus Nation, the YouTube channel of Campus Nation. I think we're going to sign out at halftime here, and we'll come back to you here at some point to give you some first half stats and some first half analysis. But we're leaving you on the Campus Nation Facebook page at halftime. Wilmington 24, Goshen 0. All right, we are back here at Alumni Field. Halftime score 24, Wilmington 0, Goshen. I'm Tony Mancuso on Facebook Live with Jeff Merklin, Joe Holgren on the camera. Jeff, tell us about the first half and what kind of stats or numbers that both teams had.
Well, the statistics mirror the scoreboard, Tony. For Goshen, passing, Brewer was 1 for 5 for -3 yards and an interception. Brewer had 6 carries for 13 net yards. Cope, 6 carries, -4 yards. Miller, 2 carries, -1. And Burial, 1 carry for -2. Total rushing yards, 15 attempts for 6 yards. The receiving, Cope had the only catch for -3 yards. The net result is Goshen 20 plays, 3 total yards, and 1 first down. For Wilmington, McAvoy 5 for 13 passing for 61 yards, and Killen 1 for 1 for 32 yards and a touchdown. Total for Wilmington passing, they were 6 for 14 for 93 yards and the touchdown. Rushing, Stuckey 19 attempts, 112 yards and a touchdown. Ringling 1 carry for 11 yards. Snell 2 for 5 with a touchdown. Coward 2 for 8. And McAvoy 2 for 17. Net 26 carries, 153 yards. Receiving, Snell 2 catches for 28 yards. Ringling 2 for 34. And Stuckey 2 for 31. Bottom line for Wilmington, 40 plays, 246 yards, and 11 first downs.
You talk about dominating statistics. 24-0 on the scoreboard, and the statistics almost seem even worse.
They pretty bad.
Well, big night for Wilmington, homecoming tonight.
Yeah, good for them to have that hiccup in the first half. And hopefully, it sounds like tentatively the word on that situation is good.
So the opening kick is mishandled, but then picked up by Ringling, and he rolls to the left sideline, and he's going for a while, and he's not run out of bounds at about the 40-yard. We got an official word. The issue earlier in the game was concussion-like symptoms for sophomore Greg Jarvis of the Goshen Warriors. That's the word from the sideline that is unofficial, but that's what I hear happen in the Goshen sideline. So some sort of concussion-type injury to Greg Jarvis. So here we go, 40-yard line, and Wilmington takes over first half. First play of the second half, and they unload deep. And there is a diving effort and a catch made
Ruled, they waved it off. Said it hit the ground, Tony.
Ball's incomplete.
Intended for Tanner Killen Gate. Looked like he caught it, Jeff, but then they waved it off.
I couldn't tell. It looked like he got his hands under it, but he may have had his hands a little further apart and allowed the ball to hit the ground.
That brings up second down and 10.
There goes number 13, McAvoy, still on his feet.
The 14, Cameron McAvoy, the ball carrier.
About a 33-yard gain. Just a straight quarterback sweep on that one, Tony.
First down.
.11:26 and clock running. McAvoy takes it down to the 29-yard line. Wilmington is threatening to go up by a magical 30-plus points with the running clock looming. They're stuck with an inside handoff, busts out, close to another first down.
Number 26, Pat Stuckey, the ball carrier. Tackle number 80, Evan Harris. That brings up second down and 2.
Gain of about 8. Funny stuff here in the Wilmington field. 10:33 left, third quarter. McAvoy on another keeper. Touchdown.
Beautiful catch.
Did he get in?
Just short.
Cameron McIntosh with the
I'm wondering if Coach Killen was thinking he just can't get anybody to catch for him, so I'm going to turn him loose and let him run a little bit this half.
What a run.
He has got some really good moves.
McAvoy stopped at the
I
1 yard
liked him
line.
last year, Tony. He's a good athlete.
What a. Now, see, we're going to date ourselves as a quarterback, left-handed, wearing black jerseys. Got a guy that ran like him.
Snake Stabler.
No, come on. Try again. From our youth. Left-handed, ran like that.
Bobby
There
Douglas.
you go. It took you 2. You got it on the second try.
I was thinking of Stabler when he was at Alabama. That's where
I
he
don't
got
ever
the.
remember Stabler.
Well, at Alabama, he was a good runner and he ran like a snake, and that's where actually where he got the nickname. And that's kind of what McAvoy did there. But he's just almost Randall Cunningham-ish in some ways. He just kind of glides.
If anyone knew who Bobby Douglas was and is, that's what he looked like.
After that play, that brings up first down.
Now,
and
not
goal.
only do you date me, the fact that I know the answer, but it probably doesn't say much about my social life.
I'm calling Blake Snell for the touchdown.
I say quarterback sneak. He got down there, let him score. Nope, you're
It
right.
is Snell. And of course,
Touchdown, back here into the end zone for a touchdown, Wilmington.
Blake Snell with a 1-yard touchdown run. The kid can smell the end zone, that's for sure. He's like a touchdown machine.
The attempt to point after number 19, Parker Henry.
There was another guy from our youth that smelled the end zone when he got down there and just passed away recently. Do you remember who that is?
My goodness. Got to give me a better hint than that. I know we're in filler mode here, but boy, that
Well,
question,
he's from the West Coast. Had a great NFL career in the East Coast.
Parker
Henry's
Henry.
going through. That brings our score.
Best ever game was against the Buckeyes in the Rose Bowl.
0.
Sam Cunningham.
Sam the Bam Cunningham.
Hey, I got it.
Good job.
Ladies and gentlemen, this game will now be played with his running.
You know, it reminds me more of another guy from that era. I was going to say this one. It's funny we're in the same era, but I saw him
and for timeouts. If the point differential should fall below 30 points, normal
Champ
clock
Henson.
That's right. Boy, we're really bringing up these old names. Let's ask Sydney, did you know Champ Henson? Or
It's the night Chili Airs getting to you. Stop by and see the choir program still selling those blankets for $30.
Well, I like those guys. They're still in my mind. I can't remember who I met last week, but I remember those guys.
It's amazing.
Stop by and see Mr. Hutchinson and his crew to get yourself one of those Wilmington choir blankets.
I was trying to think of a modern version of those guys and couldn't come up with it.
Fullback is extinct.
It reminds me of Champ Henson. And your Cunningham is a good call, too.
Actually, Henson got hurt. His body actually looks like the guy who followed him, Bruce Elia.
Oh, yeah. Remember him, too.
He was a little more stocky, like Snell is.
Woody had the gumption to always have linebackers turn into fullbacks.
Exactly right.
Elia was a linebacker. I think Champ was, too.
May have been. Don Lamka, the quarterback in 1971, was a defensive back that he moved over. Of course, he never cared whether they passed or not. Plunge into the line for two. Actually, not a bad gain for Goshen. Maybe not two, maybe 2 inches.
Man, that's tough.
Down in 11.
So 8 and counting. It is Wilmington 31, Goshen 0. We've got the running clock situation. It is 3rd and 11. There's a ball deep downfield, and it is off the fingertips of the intended receiver.
Brewer's pass intended for number 22, Austin Lewis. That pass falls incomplete.
Deep downfield for
Here's a 4th down and 11.
Off his fingertips.
Well thrown
Well
ball.
thrown, yes, that was a well thrown ball.
If he has some time, he can do it.
What do you do when you're overmatched like that offensively? What do you do?
You try a little bit of everything, and when it's me, I try to make sure all the ball to your maybe a counter for your H. Try to get everybody still involved in the game by giving them a chance to catch or run the ball.
There's a punt which is picked up, and there's going to be a block in the back, and that's coming back.
Number 3, Adrian Cody feels the kick. There's a flag on the play.
But it's coming back. The official threw the flag at about the 41-yard line. Trying to sort it out with 7:03. Clock has stopped. McAvoy back to throw, looking, and he's launching deep, and it is going to be caught! What a play!
McAvoy's pass complete to number 1, Isaiah Wrigley.
Jeff.
Another beautiful ball by McAvoy. I got to wonder if Coach Killen was thinking, I'm going to keep doing that until he gets one tonight because we had guys open. And you got some tough games coming up you got to win, so you keep
That
going.
play results in a hurricane.
I feel bad for Goshen, but in high school varsity football, your job is to stop them. And it's still a competition, so very nice play by Wilmington. Touchdown. Good ball.
I always think Isaiah's tough football.
I agree.
He's got like that Tyler Boyd.
Number 19, Parker Hendrick.
Very fast.
Yeah, he's a
Good
tough
hands.
kid.
Yes.
Always hard working. So McAvoy wriggling for a touchdown.
Henry's kick is good. That takes our score to Wilmington, 38. Goshen, 0.
So we're now at 38 nothing, Jeff, with 6:08 left in the third quarter. And this one is going to just run down and quit.
Yeah, I think from this point forward, you'll see Wilmington put in their other kids and when they're on offense, and probably starting now. They'll probably put some subs in on defense and give them some reps.
Well, they weren't shy about throwing it downfield.
Right.
Coach Killen had him lining up and firing away.
I think he just was frustrated with all the drops the first half. I mean, you can't necessarily run your offense to make your quarterback feel better, but I think he just said, we're going to get this done because we're going to need this play, these types of plays the rest of the season, and I want to hit a couple. And there's nothing wrong with that.
So a game that got out of hand quick. After the two early safeties for 4-0, from then on it's been a hurricane, to say the least.
Well, I'll go back and agree with you that your point about the focus. Once the second quarter hit and it was just two safeties, 4-0, Wilmington, I think, made it a point to get focused, get on their game, and that's what's happened.
Well, clearly, the Goshen Warriors overmatched.
That kick is good. Number 19, Bryce Brewer, stopped on the play. Number 34, Blaze
I'm
Johnson.
sure it's a difficult task keeping these kids motivated. They've really been blown out all 7 games.
I don't know, maybe it's just me. It looks like things have gotten a little chippy out there the last couple of plays. So
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. Goshen's probably pretty frustrated with that last series. But again, I don't blame either coach. I think Coach Killen did what he needs to do for his team, and I don't blame Goshen for Coach for maybe sticking up for his kids if that's what's going on.
There goes Bryce Brewer. He might get what's needed. Great wheels. What a good run.
Very nice run.
He showed some wheels that we haven't seen all night.
Well, we did have that 33-yard run.
That's right.
Number 19, Bryce Brewer,
I
quarterback
think those
keeper,
are the
stopped
only
on
two
the
times
play.
he's had a
Number
glimpse
4,
of light.
Elijah Khan.
He's very nice run.
Blasted out of there.
He's got a nice arm, too, from what we've seen. But
Would you let him throw it around some?
I would, sure. Absolutely. Wilmington clearly does have younger kids in, second team.
First ball, first and 10 on the
That's
29.
all right.
Well,
Coach
I know when
Killen
the
will want.
backups get playing time.
Sure. And Coach Killen, hey, he's not going to take him out. It's you guys' game now. Go out there and play. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Well, Goshen hasn't quit. You got to give the kids credit. They have not quit.
And I've not seen him walking around
No,
either.
playing hard defensively. They're interested.
Coming out of the huddle and getting to the line. Very impressed with how the coaches have them Still playing the game. It's really nice to see.
So the officials winding the clock at 3:25 and counting. Wilmington 38, Goshen nothing. Let's see if Goshen's going to be able to score. There's flags everywhere. And the people are
Number 7, Gabe Cook, the ball carrier.
This continues.
Stop at number 40, Casey Dobbs.
We got flags.
Yeah, personal foul, so chickiness does continue. And I tell you, when it reaches a certain level, no matter what you do as a coach, when the kids get frustrated,
Well, can you call your team over and say, hey, cut it out?
you do, but if they're frustrated, you may have to just take somebody out of the game, let them cool off a little bit, call a timeout.
The Goshen's long run is negated by the penalty. Way back. They're back almost on their side of the field. There's a long pass into the end zone, and it is.
Good ball there, well thrown,
Yeah,
well
great,
defended.
great defense.
So the pass intended for 16, Cameron Barrett.
Who was on the coverage?
It was hard to see the number. It seems like a little darker down at that far end to me, far corner. I'm going to say it was number 6.
Mike Brown, no. Yeah, it might have been.
It's at a 3rd down, 23.
Great play. Or 4. The ball was well. Oh, man. Big sack. He's zeroed in on it, Jeff.
Quarterback sack, number 61, Paige John, 40.
Yeah, let's punt it and go play defense.
Looks like Gino Atkinson is playing. That's what he looked like.
And from his blind side,
After the sack,
Bryce
brings a
Davidson
4th
gets
down,
the
33.
impressed with his
Back to
toughness.
receive the kick. Number 1, Isaiah Wriggling, and number 3, Adrian Cody.
It's hard to remember Gino Atkinson. It's been a few years since he's had it.
Had a lot of complaints, but few tackles the last few years.
And there goes number 3 again, Adrian Cody. And he's like the
Fielding number 3, Adrian Cody.
He's got a lot of return yards. Jeff.
He was run out of bounds, number 7,
Well,
Gabe Cody.
one play was called back, so probably on paper, and I'm sorry I haven't been keeping the returns.
It hurt the ball, 1st and 10 from
Probably
the
not
44.
quite as much as you might think because of the touchdown that was called back.
It's 38-0. Wilmington comfortably ahead. 3rd quarter at Alumni Field. The only question about this one, Jeff, is whether or not Goshen is going to score. That looked like their best track. And here we go. The first team offense is still in. How about that?
At least you can probably see them let them run out the clock here in the 3rd quarter before they come back to the sideline and they're going to run a play. Maybe? Nope. Let it go out.
Now, when you're in the other end of
Our
the
score at the end of the 3rd quarter, Wilmington 38,
it's on a reset. It's 38-0 Wilmington at the end of the 3rd. The Hurricanes leading the Goshen Warriors. We're on Facebook Live at Campus Nation channel on Facebook. I'm Tony Mancuso, doing the play-by-play. State champion quarterback Jeff Brooklyn on the color. Joe Holdren on the camera. Susan Phillips on the camera. It's 38-0. We're in the running clock situation. Now, Jeff, let's ask it from the other side.
We would like to thank tonight's game sponsor, Smith Funeral Home.
How are you
The
playing?
Smith Funeral Home and Cremation Services is a family-owned and operated business with locations in Wilmington and New Vienna. Started in 1948, Smith
If
Funeral
it were
Home is
me right
celebrating
now,
70
my
years
second
of service
team
to the
probably
community.
in.
The Smith family
Or
is
if I
proud
got
of their
my
heritage
first
and
team,
caring and
maybe one or
excited to
two more
support the
things I want
Wilmington
to work on
Hurricane
to
football
prepare for
team
the
this
next couple
season.
weeks.
Go King!
I think he's worked on his long passing game in the third quarter. So don't be surprised if you see a couple plays here that maybe we haven't seen tonight.
Looking
And,
out wide left. Number 45, the homecoming team, Brett Brooks.
Or getting the ball to a kid that you just want to have a touch.
Now let's see. He's out there wide. Yes, how about that big Brett Brooks?
Number 45, Brett Brooks!
That's not something you see Brett do too often.
No, but if you recall last year, he got a couple short kickoffs, and he just rumbled over people last year. So it's not the first time he's carried the football.
Nice soft hands, foot out left.
He had couple pretty good moves last year in those kickoffs too, but he just was extremely
Hurricane
difficult
fans,
to
we'd like
bring
to say a
down.
special birthday greeting to our senior and varsity cheerleader, Justice Bell. Hurricane wishes her a happy birthday.
His homecoming team, they give him the touch. He's out wide left, and they give him a completion. And there goes Stucky around, takes the out, and he's going to make a
Take that back on 24, and the boy into
I was wondering what happened to the other sophomore He had a lot of touches.
I'm so much this season that that one was a jailbreak run.
That's the first one tonight.
A long touchdown run for Dane McCoy.
Parker Henry is in the bleak point
How about
after.
that? Good for him.
I wondered if maybe he had an injury or something.
Well, he didn't play much all year.
Henry's kick is good!
He got more carries
That
last
makes our score here with 11 minutes left in the third quarter. Wilmington 45.
Last year he got the
Station.
these two
0.
sophomores then, McCoy and
That's Stucky.
Stucky. Just been Stucky tonight until that run. And I think Coach Killen now has probably done everything he wants to do. He got a couple kids touches that he wanted to get touches. And
Well,
now
that was a beautiful run, Jeff, by Dane McCoy. And you're right. He seemed like he was used more last year at the running back position. And gives him a chance for a long touchdown run. Well deserved and looked great.
he's fast too. We noticed that last year. He explodes through the line. Very nicely.
We're at 45 to nothing. Like I said, the only interesting thing left for Goshen is to see if they can somehow mount a drive and score. 45-0 with 11:06 left in the game. So kick return.
That kick is field by number 6, Andrew Morris.
Andrew Morris with the kick
First
return.
stop on the play, number 40, Cason Dodge.
Case and Dodge with a big hit on the kickoff return for Wilmington.
Now, if you're Goshen, are you throwing it around some to try to get some points, or what do you do?
You're still attacking. You're going to do what you can. If all you can get done is get an accomplishment by saying in the last quarter we tied 7-7 or something, or we've scored, you can try to take something good out of the game that you can talk to the kids about at the end. You know, it makes no sense to yell at kids when the talent level just isn't there, or
No.
the experience level maybe. It's a young team.
They're trying. They work hard. They
They do
never
work
gave
hard,
up.
and so you're trying to take something positive away. So absolutely, you keep trying, and there's no reason not to. The clock is you're not going to send people home at a later time with a 30-point lead up there. So you're going to try to score.
So both teams' averages went up in their respective categories. Right down.
19 Price Brewers, ball carrier.
6 points a game. So far, none. Wilmington averaging 26 a game offensively. So far, 45. One up, one down.
Wilmington's defense, even though he's got different kids in there, they definitely want to keep the shutout. So there's still a competition going on.
Number 19 Price Brewers, ball carrier. Head of the line by the Hurricane defense.
31-yard line. Third and 6.
Brings that 3rd down and 6.
If you don't convert,
I'd still punt. Depends on how close it is. If you lose 6 yards, you go ahead and punt.
Goshen just never could get anything going offensively. Nothing. Rice back to pass, fires deep downfield, incomplete. I think the kid has a good-looking arm.
He most certainly does.
He can win it.
Price Brewers pass falls
Good,
good
experience.
Mike
Good
Brown.
experienced team around him, and you have a solid quarterback. I like what he looks
Brings that
like.
4th down and 6. Back to field the punt number 3. Featuring Cody at number 1, Isaiah Wrigley.
Again, it's Isaiah Wrigley and Adrian Cody. Back for the punt. Call that a block. Rolls and rolls and rolls. It's inside. That is the best limit of field position.
That's a net of 50 on that punt for Goshen, so good for them.
Hurricane rolls down to 18. It'll be Hurricane ball, 1st and 10.
7:36 left. It's the Campus Nation Facebook channel. On this game, we're up on the YouTube channel of Campus Nation. It is Wilmington 45, Goshen 0. As a Wilmington band plays Hang On, not Snoopy, but Snoopy. Hang On, Snoopy. He is still on his feet, Jeff. Looks like number 11.
Number 11 taking down the ball carrier.
Nice run. I think it's coming back, though.
Flag on the play.
What a bull run. He was bowling ahead and wouldn't go down. If I have one disagreement with the running clock, during penalties and things of that nature, it should stop. There's a lot of time wasted by the officials marking the ball.
That ended up being a hit below the waist by the defensive team, Goshen, but Wilmington declined it, which is a very sportsmanlike thing to do. I agree with you on that point.
Yeah,
I
and the
agree
ball-
with the running clock, but kids do need their chance to play. And when there's a stoppage of play, not for an incompletion, but for a penalty, certainly that should be another addition to when the clock is stopped.
I think that should be revisited.
Because, the kids don't have any control over the referees.
Officials take forever. There's number 7 at quarterback position. That's Aiden Price.
Number 7, Aiden Price, the ball carrier.
Takes a snap
Tackle
and
number
rolls out of
22,
bounds.
Austin Lewis.
But I think you're in a situation where that should stop.
I don't disagree with that. I agree with
That
that.
play results in a Hurricane. First down.
So first down for Wilmington.
Start it again once they get the ball set. That's fine.
Yeah, there you go. While you're marking and thinking about a penalty, stop the clock.
That gives the kids 2 or 3
Yeah,
more plays,
I
probably.
like it. So in the mop-up at quarterback is Aiden Price, the sophomore.
Number 11, Zane Cowan, the ball carrier.
So
Quarterback, Warrior defenders.
Next year, Lucy McAvoy, senior.
Oh, yeah.
Timeout Wilmington. They never did get set. I think there was mass confusion on what they wanted to
Timeout Wilmington.
do. We're at 4:41 to go here at Alumni Field on homecoming night. I'm Tony Mancuso with Jeff Merkland, Joe Holgren, Sidney Phillips. We're all here enjoying the beautiful weather, festivities here at Wilmington High School. Clock stopped for a timeout. Wilmington wanted to get organized offensively. We'll see if Goshen even gets the ball back. This might be it. There's a pitch to number 11. That's Zane Cowan again.
Number 11, Zane Cowan, the ball carrier.
4:20 and counting.
Stop at number 7, Gabe Cook. And number 8, Eddie
Yeah, I
Harris.
think if they get a first down here, that'll run out the clock, even though it seems odd to say that with 4 minutes to go.
Wilmington band still fired up. You can hear them in the background.
A lot of students here
Sounding
tonight.
good.
Good to see. Yeah, students, the band, nice atmosphere.
Well, let's look at it from the Wilmington side. It feels good to beat somebody
Number
45.
7, Gabe Price, the quarterback.
Homecoming night, traditionally, you try to get these kind of games from homecoming, although when you're in a league, you don't necessarily have the ability to do it.
Brings up 4th down and 1.
So sure, it's a fun night. Good for Wilmington.
Good for him to be putting the pedal to the metal.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I really thought, and I haven't seen them play, but going into the season, I really expected them to be in the 7-3 type category after watching them last year.
I think he stopped short. So Goshen will get one more chance to score.
And I will be
Number
shocked if
32,
they
Owen
don't try
Williams,
to
ball
do it.
carrier. Stop short of 1st down.
Here
We'd like
comes
to
the
thank our friends
Wilmington
at Nicholas
complete
Jones
backup
for this
defense.
football donated today for tonight's game. They were thrown out by the cheerleader. Once again, thank you to our
Hopefully
friends
everybody
at
got
Nicholas
some plays in tonight. Homecoming. Your old friends in the stands get a chance to cheer for them.
Let's see. They can score. That's not going anywhere. Gabe Cope with the carry.
Number 7, Gabe Cook, the ball carrier.
This Gabe Cope got
Stop at
positive
number
Gabe
31,
Cope is still in
Ortiz.
the red. That should be 7 carries for -5 yards now. I'm sorry, 7 carries for -9 yards. I don't think Gabe has seen one crease whatsoever.
No.
tonight.
Nope. Running hard, but boy, oh boy, when you're frustrated that We're under 2 minutes to go. There goes Bryce Brewer, keeper inside the 25 to about the 22.
First down.
You gotta hurry, kids.
Quarterback
We're trying to get in.
Bryce Brewer. Stop by number 60, Jelani Hunter.
They're running against the backup Wilmington defense. Bryce has had some moments of glory on the keepers.
And he's had some difficulties with.
Throwing
he's
into
open.
the end zone, and it is a touchdown.
Good for him.
How about
First
that?
pass is complete to number 16, Camden Barrett. That's good for a
Very
Goshen
nice
touchdown.
ball thrown to his left.
Bryce Brewer, the Camden Barrel, the sophomore receiver, and Goshen scores. So good for Goshen, a TD pass. Brewer to Barrel.
I tell you what, Tony, he was running to his left.
Yes.
He basically had to throw back across his body, not totally, but a little bit, and that was a laser he
It
put
was
in
a
there.
laser. He actually strung the ball well.
He really has. And he knocks through the extra point.
So the
And here's our
Goshen
score,
don't
Wilmington
win.
45, Goshen 7.
They get a late touchdown with a minute and 9 left on a good-looking throw from Bryce Brewer, receiver, Barrier, senior, sophomore, 109 left. MVP tonight.
I think Stocky, very impressive. Speed. Now let's tell looking at him here on the sidelines, he's really not that big of a kid, but he is very fast.
He's got the running back team.
Carries himself like a very good running back.
Back to receive the kick, number 3, Adrian Cookie, and number 1, Isaiah Rickman.
How many times have we heard Adrian Cody and Isaiah Rickman back to return kicks?
Not fun, yeah. Second time we're kicking off.
Or a free kick on 2 seconds.
Yeah, for leading 25-7, they probably have a lot of return yards like we talked about.
Yes, they do. So how about that? Ball fielded. Kid gets a carry, number 61.
Kick was fielded by number 61, Tayshawn Corey.
It's Tayshawn
Second
Corey.
play by number 3, River Andrew.
Gets a kick return. Stat.
A couple of big moments for him on homecoming night.
And I don't think we're going to see another play, are we? Maybe he'll come out and kneel once.
Depends when they place the ball. They have actually not placed it yet, and they're doing that on purpose so no other play has to be run. And that'll do it.
Well, they're coming out, but I don't think there's going to be a play.
I think the coach, it was awful close to having to run a play, but the
Yeah, well,
referees
yeah,
did a
well,
good job just bleeding it down.
Let it go. So we've got a final here at Wilmington. It is the Wilmington Hurricane going to 3 and
Our
4.
final score tonight's game, Wilmington 45, Goshen 7.
Goshen with a late
I'd
touchdown.
like to thank you all for coming out tonight for our homecoming 2021.
A big night with a homecoming home team. Wilmington Hurricane.
Congratulations once again to the homecoming king and queen. Represent City Titans.
wrapping it up.
Probably about what we expected coming in. Two questions that I have as we go out of this game. Number one, most important, we hope the Goshen young man is healthy and that the team will be able to finish the season with some pride. I don't know if they play Batavia. That might be a crossover game. So it would be nice if by somehow they could play each other because Batavia is having a rough year as well. And then for Wilmington, can they use this as a start for the second half of their season? Maybe get to 5 or 6 wins and make the playoffs.
How about the fans storming the field? That's it. The school and the administration let the fans storm the field. Students. I like that. I really do.
As long as it's controlled.
And it is. I really think that's the classy move. They let them come on the field. The kids are hugging the temporaries. Everybody hugging unity on homecoming night. I think that's a great thing. Here they come, more of them.
Wilmington's a nice community. Always like coming down here.
Yeah, that was great.
Back in the days when the Bengals
We're here.
in the summer. Wilmington College came down a few times.
Yeah.
Played sports here in college a time or two, and then it was a non-league game. Actually, I think it may have been tennis, not football, but really a nice community here.
Yes, I really like letting the kids run on the field. I think that was great. Absolutely great. Class move by the Wilmington administration and the coaching staff allowing that to happen. So it's about time to wrap it up here at Alumni Field. I'm Tony Mancuso. Jeff Merklin, a great job on the color expert commentary as always. Good to have you back in the booth. Joe Holdren, fabulous cameraman as always. If I ever have a barbecue or anything that needs filmed, I'm going to hire you, Joe. But I don't usually film my barbecues. So, Sydney Phillips, as always, the technical guru, getting it done here at Alumni Field. So I'm Tony Mancuso for the whole Campus Nation crew, the Campus Nation Facebook channel, the YouTube channel, Campus Nation. Good night, everyone.